the government will have a shutdown. But I always bring you on because you are my ear to the ground in Chicago. Chicago has been in the news for the last 5 years regarding the migrant crisis. And that's still a lot going on with the migrant crisis, not just in Chicago, but nationally. Last week, you were at DC at the Capitol. You went to the sanctuary mayor's hearing, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I was sitting right behind Eric Adams in a big old MAGA hat.
Yes, you had good seats. So
Yes.
give us a brief summary of, what happened, if
Okay.
anything happened.
So I got there, and when I arrived, Brandon Johnson got there a little bit after me. And so when he walked in, as I share all the time, we're from the same neighborhood. So I was like, "Hey, West Side in the building." And at first he was like kind of tense, but when I said that, he was like, okay. And then, he smiled and he winked, and that was cool. But then there was this other group there from Chicago, and one of their group members decided that she was going to try to heckle him in city council in the U.S. Congress. So she's hollering and screaming and carrying on, and I'm like, hey, no yelling. This is not City Hall. So it was a little skirmish, but whatever. She got herself together. And then the hearing began. Now, during the hearing, I thought it was very interesting that all of the mayors were saying that they were following municipal law and that they were following the laws on the book. But one of the congressmen reminded them of the supremacy clause and told them that no matter what you guys are doing, you can't supersede the U.S. Constitution, and you guys are definitely participating in aiding and abetting illegal immigration. Um, I thought that it was weird that Jasmine came and she's like, how are any of these migrants 34-time felons? Are they 34-time felons? And so the chair was like, excuse me, that is not what we're talking about today. We're talking about sanctuary cities. So please stay on point. So then she kind of shut up. She kept on entering what they call enter into the record. And she kept on entering into the record things about crime, about Americans committing crime. The Democrats were very focused on the fact, or trying to prove, that Americans commit more crime than immigrants do, but they did not differentiate between legal immigrants and illegal immigrants, because another congressperson put into the record that illegal immigrants actually commit way more crimes than regular citizens. They also talked about how much money is being spent. Now, Brandon was a little tricky here. Brandon did not tell the whole truth. Okay, I will say that Brandon was up there following the script that they gave him. However, he did a good job. He wasn't as, sometimes he gets anxious and stuff. He wasn't anxious at all. And so they asked him, how much are Chicagoans spending on illegal immigration? And he's like, oh, it's 1% of the city budget. And they were like, so what does that mean? What does 1% of the city budget mean? And he was like, well, it's 1% of the city budget. So they were kind of trying to play with the Congress people as well. The most interesting part of it for me was when Representative Luna stated that she was going to bring up a referral for investigations to Attorney General Pam Bondi for all of these mayors aiding and abetting illegal immigration, which is a federal crime. That was cool. Now, in the middle of all of this, Fox News wanted to come hear what P. Ray had to say. So they sent a black car to come pick me up. And then I went to Fox News and I shared with them the migrant situation and how, we in Chicago are very happy, and we want to thank the Congress for taking us seriously because we were not getting any reprieve on the local levels. I also told them that, as people try to make this a conversation about xenophobia and racism, they need to take people like me into account because I'm an American Negro woman. And none of this is my business, okay? We not immigrants. We don't have an immigrant story. And when we try to couch the conversation around illegal immigration and racism and xenophobia, what they're doing is ignoring people like myself who are 100% American, but not a part of the white majority. So I think that went over very well. I was in the airport. This lady was like, oh my God, you're the girl from Fox News. I'm like, yeah. She's like, ah. So that was cool that people recognized me. But overall, I think it went really well. I think that Brandon is going to start singing a different tune very quickly, because I know also he's looking to show or trying to get his approval rating up. So I did get a message from the mayor's office. It's like, hey, we like what you're doing. We like that you keep us accountable and that you're, professional. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh, what nice words to get from them. So I think now we're going to start to see some changes, because with the low approval rating and this congressional hearing mess, I think that the mayor is not in a really good position. So this is a great time for us to really do the politics of politicking, because politics is not bullying. It is shaking a hand and making a friend to get the policy that you want passed. So that's it. That's what happened. Ma'am?
I want to play the just mute up when I'm talking. I want to play the clip of you on Fox News, and that's what I was trying to pull up. And I do have it here as soon as the damn commercial end up leaving. And then I want to ask you one more thing that came out today as well about Chicago, because there is rumored, even because Rahm Emanuel did not say, yes, I'm running for president in 2028, but it's rumored that he will be running on the Democrat ticket. All right. Here we go. Let me share this.
Thank you. For more, let's bring in Patricia P. Ray Easley, a Chicago resident who traveled to D.C. to attend this hearing. Thank you so much. We've heard from you before. We've had you on the program. Please do share with us your thoughts about what you have heard so far.
I want to start by saying thank you so much to the United States Congress on behalf of the taxpayers and the citizens of Chicago. We have been in a situation where our tax dollars, resources, and time have been allocated to illegal aliens because our city has been magnetized for illegal immigration through the sanctuary policies.
So you've got Brandon Johnson. He's there defending his city sanctuary policies. Obviously, J.B. Pritzker, the governor, is defending the state's sanctuary policies. But at the same time, ICE, at least, P-Ray, in the initial phases here, is going after criminal illegal aliens. So you've got the mayor of Chicago, your town, defending the status of illegal criminal migrants in the city. Does that make any sense to you?
No, sir, it doesn't. Because at the end of the day, we care about the health, safety, and security of our families. Our goal is to protect our families, not people who chose to skirt our U.S. immigration laws and sneak into our country. It's not fair that they're held to a higher standard or a lesser standard than us. It's like they're special. And we want to know what makes these people so special that they can't be prosecuted. They get our tax dollars. They get free housing. They get free health care. It's like we are at a disadvantage because we're citizens.
All right. If we could real quick, we're going to dip back into that hearing. Iona Presley is speaking right now. Let's listen in for a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to bring up a bill that's going to be before the floor, H.R. 32, a bill that would basically take away federal grants if the administration thinks you are a, quote, sanctuary city, which...
All right, so we tried to catch it there.
We missed her there. Oh, well. Go ahead, Senator.
All right, so let's get back to P. Ray. P. Ray, bottom line, America's watching what is happening in that hearing room, and they're hearing directly from these mayors who seem to be in defense of policies that have, quite frankly, destroyed many of these great American cities. How do you believe that they can continue to defend this, especially based on the turnout of the last election? People want to see their cities and the sidewalks safe again. They want to be able to live freely and not worry about policies that are leading to the destruction of their city.
Well, it's really important that we realize that the legislation that is allowing this was in place before this last election. We heard the mayors all this morning say that these are city laws that they are following. So it's really important that the federal government comes to give us relief against these very harmful policies that are affecting us on the city level or on the municipal level. And again, we thank them for coming, thank them for making them answer before Congress, and hopefully we'll be able to get some type of reprieve through the federal government.
So we have seen a tremendous amount of money in these cities and these states going, this is taxpayer money,
yes,
too.
My money.
It's not just money that they get out of the air going to service these migrants, such as this. Denver, $79 million as of November 2024. Chicago, $638.7 million. That's August of 2022 through January 2025. Massachusetts, more than $1 billion to date. And look at this. New York City projected this fiscal year to hit $3.3 billion. You add all of that together, P. Ray, and that turns into real money. And American taxpayers are forking it over. And when we heard from Joe Biden, there's nothing more I can do about illegal immigration until Congress acts. And then we see in the first month and a half of the Trump administration, cross-border illegal traffic is down 95%. Do taxpayers rightly ask, why have we been spending all this money?
Yes, we don't go to work to pay for illegal immigrants. We don't fight the snow and the rain and the heat to go out into this world to pay taxes in order to pay for the entire third world. It's not fair to us, especially me as an American Negro woman. I'm not an immigrant at all. So this is none of my business. As a 100% eighth generation free American, I find this very insulting because the laws and our sovereignty are not being respected right now. And they want to try to make this a racialized issue. They want to try to make this xenophobic. But by doing that, it ignores people like myself who are not a part of the white majority, but are 100% Americans. We can't stand for this. And right now, we're one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, P. Ray, always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, P. Ray. Makes a compelling argument there. We are awaiting a White House.
Okay. So you can hear me? Okay, I want to make sure I wasn't delayed. So yeah, listen, girl, when you said Negro, I was like, oh my God. Oh, wait.
What'd you say, Dana? You kind of like broke up a little bit.
Oh, I was saying, when you said Negro, I was like, ooh, she done said the N-word.
That's right. Yep, I'm here to represent the Negro, because if you're having a conversation about the Negro, that conversation is 100% American, because we're 100% American people. They have to stop trying to say that Make America Great Again is for white folks. No, now white people are a part of my lineage, but my story is a Negro story, and America is a great country for the Negro. So we gotta really push. You know, a lot of people do SBA or ADOS. That's your business. I go by what's literally in the federal record on the birth certificates, and my parents' Cook County birth certificate says Negro, which makes us a part of the non-immigrant class. And therefore, the non-immigrant class has a huge say in what immigration looks like in this country. And they going home. That's it. No more black and brown. I don't care about the black immigrants and all that stuff. No, immigration has been an issue for us since the 1800s. And now in 2025, this is the time for us to stand up and do something about it. I really hope that my Donnie keeps his word and gets rid of all of the illegals who are here, so that our people can really start taking advantage of the country like we're supposed to.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, because the budget, the GOP funding budget, they want to increase spending on the border and immigration deportation, you know. So he is continuing to make sure, he just mute up for a second. He is continuing to make sure that he answers all of the campaign promises, you know, and he's been doing it since day one. So, and I'm gonna talk about the budget a little bit later on, because I think a lot of people are getting it confused as to what the budget, what's in it, right? Because Democrats are saying, oh, they're gonna cut this, gonna cut that. Actually, they're not really cutting much. They're actually spending more, but they're
Miss Dana, are you frozen, or is that my phone?
No, I think it's, let me see something. No, I'm not frozen. Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Dana, it's like you're frozen in front of me. I can see myself moving, but I don't see you moving. Nor can I hear you.
Go out and come back in. Go out
I'm
and
gonna
come back.
leave and come back. One
Yes.
moment.
I want to make sure it wasn't me because when I did the show Thursday, my audio was delayed, but then I had to update my computer. So, okay.
All right,
Good.
cool. Yes, we're moving.
Okay. Was somebody trying to call you?
They just don't
That
respect
knocks
the
it off. Yeah,
process.
that knocks everything off when that happens. So yeah, so speaking of the budget, in the GOP funding bill, they're actually not doing cuts. They're actually increasing money, especially when it comes to deportation at the border, eliminating the IRS enforcements. So they're not cutting food stamps, they're not cutting Medicaid and Medicare, but that is the narrative that the Democrats are running. So just to swing it back to you, I did watch and I aired the sanctuary mayor in Congress last week, and they were trying to basically cover their ass. But I'm glad that you were able to speak out against that on Fox News. And you were down at City Hall today. So just
Yes.
briefly, any updates when it comes to what's going on in Chicago? And also, Chicago did have a shooting at the damn airport over baggage claim.
Look, it was not over baggage claim. I think they found out somebody had landed in the city and they went to go meet him with some feet and fists. You know, this is a wild town, okay? Don't ever get it twisted. Chicago is a wild place. This is why you have to carry yourself with a certain level of decorum and have a certain level of manners. If you want to get anything done in the city, I'm talking about anything, you got to shake a hand, make a friend, and know some people. So if you know, calling, yeah, I'm on my way to Chicago, I'm at the airport. Okay, we got somebody waiting on you. But that's their business. I don't know anything about that. But when I watched the video, I'm like, whoo, that's a Chicago beatdown. And then the man started shooting, like weird. Anyway, I digress. What did you say before the airport? Oh, City Hall. So today I went to City Hall. Today they really weren't doing too much of anything. The Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated is having their regional conference here in Chicago, and the city treasurer is an SG Rho, so they spent a lot of time today with the SG Rhos. Shout out to the SG Rhos. They also the biggest thing on the floor today is that the fur lobby or the anti-fur lobby wanted Chicago to ban fur sales in the city of Chicago, but Chicago was literally founded around fur sales, and we wear fur in the city. So it was a lot of black people who came today, and black people were like, we wear fur coats. Leave the furs alone. I got a mink on layaway right now. Okay, stop. So they did not vote to ban that. But other than that, nothing really happened because Brandon is really, like I said, looking for friends. He's really looking for people to, like, you know, support him or whatever. And it's interesting because people believe that although, like, you know, obviously I'm a Republican, obviously I'm very, you know, a influencer, national influencer in this space. So people are always very surprised to see when I go down there that I can have cordial conversations with these people. They're like, oh, P. Ray over there with them.
You have to. It's all about bipartisan. You have to be able to have conversation. That's why the Democrats, they're crashing out, because you have to be able to come to the table and have the conversation.
And so that's what Brandon, I believe, is trying to do based on the messaging that I'm getting through, you know, through these West Side streets. But, you know, I think that it's a good deal. Like, for instance, his right-hand man is somebody I've been knowing for a very long time. So every time I see him, I'm like hugging him like, hey, you know, what's up? How you doing? You know, how your mama? And people don't like that. They're like, oh, there she go, kicking it with the Democrats again. But I'm like, how could I live in the city of Chicago and be in the political world and not interact with these people? There aren't enough of us, right? So we can't just. Okay, right. Sorry about that. So yeah, so that's it. So that's all that really happened today. But again, the movement is moving, and I really appreciate the mayor's office even reaching out to me. You know, because I know he was shocked when he seen me up in there, like, what? What are you doing here? And I wasn't there to heckle him or make him feel bad, because at the end of the day, this is still the mayor. You know, this is still my neighbor. I might need a jump one day. Okay, I might need him to come and push me out the snow. You never know. So I'm not here to make enemies. I'm not here to be like, because I know that I've always been very open and honest about this. I grew up in the Democratic Party, so I know all these people. That's why I'm the people's baby girl. But you, in order to get into a very blue space like this and make it purple like we have, you got to do it with a level of tact and decorum that must be respected at all times, or you will get beat up like the man did at the airport. I mean, it's just as plain and simple as that. So yeah, I love it here. And, pray for us because it's working.
All right. So one last thing, Rahm Emanuel, he may be running for president in 2028. Is that a good idea? Nah, I would not be supporting that man.
No, ma'am. So I actually heard that Rahm was going to be going for the Senate seat because our Senator Dick Durbin currently has throat cancer or something like that. So he's supposed to be dropping out, and then JB is going to appoint Rahm. Now that's the word on the curb. However, Rahm can't win dog catcher up here. We wouldn't elect Rahm to swat flies off of Boo Boo, okay? Like, nobody wants him. Nobody asked for him. Nobody said, where's Rahm? Bring him back. But now Rahm is here because they can see that the blue wall has been eviscerated. And for that reason, they want to bring him back in order to try to get the Negroes back in order. But ain't nobody studying Rahm. Like, that time is done. It is over. Rahm's career politically, at least in the city of Chicago, is over. I know that he's here passing out a lot of money, making a lot of promises, but honestly, I don't even think that he could win Cook County.
Yeah, I mean, he's still well connected, but I think the people are not connecting to him. That's the thing.
No, ma'am.
So.
That's the whole thing about it. And he can't do it. Like what happened to Laquan? Oh, who has throat cancer? I heard that's Senator Dick Durbin. However, that's just a rumor, the word on the curb. However, he covered up Laquan's murder. He demolished the housing stock in Black Chicago. I moved to Africa to run away from Rahm Emanuel. Like, what? How do you think that you're going to come back to my city and didn't do anything politically? And I had to literally pack up my bags and leave the country because you play too much. Like, no, we don't want Rahm. Chicago does not want Rahm. We were even pissed off at Jim Crow Joe when he appointed him as ambassador to Japan. Like, there was a huge letter writing campaign out of Chicago. It's like, please, President Biden, don't give Rahm nothing. He deserves nothing but the worst. And they did it. That's another reason that Joe really did not, do his thing in Chicago like he thought that he would. So no, the answer for Rahm is no. Go figure out something else for you to do. Your brother is a Hollywood agent. This is why he's able to like hook Rahm up with he's the top Hollywood agent, actually, Rahm Emanuel. So he's able to give him all of these media, all this media attention. But as I said before, ain't nobody studying no Rahm. Or excuse me, this is more professional. We're not thinking about him.
Rahm Emanuel, he started that New America agenda.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, all of it. Rahm, even deeper than that, Dana, Rahm was, when he was a special advisor in the White House, he colluded with Andrew Cuomo to remove the requirements from the Chicago Housing Authority, which allowed them to demolish 95% of the housing and not rebuild. This is why I'm always talking about CHA has all this money. Rahm put that in place. And then once he got it in place, he came to Chicago and became vice chair of the Chicago Housing Authority to oversee the demolition. And y'all think we're going to make him our president when he displaced over 100,000 of our people? To this day, now they're in little slums across the South and the Midwest because they can't come back to Chicago. Nobody wants to move to, middle of nowhere, Texas, or go to redneck Indiana, or, cheese curdle, Wisconsin. No, they want to come back to the city, but we can't bring our people home because Rahm has been very deliberate about getting us out the city. And Chris Kennedy, who is one of the Kennedys, he was running for, I believe it was either mayor or governor, but he stated verbatim, Rahm Emanuel and JB Pritzker are conspiring to move Black people out of the state of Illinois. And we've lost 250,000 Black people in this state in the past decade. Why would we get him as our president? What, he gonna put Black folks out the country? No, we don't want him. And that's it.
Thank you, P. Ray. Love you to pieces.
Everybody, love you more.
Go to chicagored.org. chicagored.org. Sign up to the mailing list. Donate, donate, donate is very important. Go and support chicagored.org. And you can follow P. Ray at Chicago Red P on X.
Yes. That's where all the fun happens.
All right. We'll see you next week.
See y'all.
Bye.
Dana with the data. Dana with the data.